What are some of the reasons why building companies go into liquidation?
They don't know the numbers. They've taken shortcuts. They'll work on pure volume and turnover. If you're running a building company, like you really should audit yourself as well. Building sites sitting there for 12 months, 18 months and beyond, unfortunately.
20% cheaper than another builder. Is that a point where you can go, oh, hang on, why is this so cost effective?
We're all wise enough to understand if it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true. You don't want to go signing up on the cheapest price because you could literally be the next person that has a half completed home.
Norm, what are some of the reasons why big and small building companies go into liquidation?
Yeah, look, good question. Unfortunately, we do see, a lot of larger building firms, companies, and some smaller ones go into liquidation there. And, that's generally, because of, multiple reasons, that they've been sweeping the garbage under the rug, and the rug's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger until it explodes. But, the main reason is, that they don't know the numbers. They really don't. They've taken shortcuts through certain processes there. They'll work on pure volume and turnover. And, that's where they start getting into the aspect of robbing Peter to pay Paul. But, please don't understand that too, that there are often very good builders that find themselves in this situation, and that's, not because they're bad people at all. It's just because they don't know what they don't know. So, just because a building company goes into liquidation, doesn't mean that they have been trying to sort of set themselves up for that. Like, no one wants that outcome, but sometimes there are other companies out there running so close to that red line, and they're just teetering with it, and they're setting themselves up for failure there, So a few things that they need to sort of consider, if you're running a building company, is like you really should audit yourself as well. Like we personally audit ourselves every month, everything, every job, everything that's going on there down to the cent. You got to keep your finger on the pulse and know your numbers. For us, we only quote from full plans and specifications. We don't just quote off concept drawings and chook scratchings and then go to contracts with people and, go, oh yeah, she'll be right sort of thing. It's, we know our numbers on each and every job to what that's going to cost. Unfortunately, a lot of builders aren't aware that, and even contractors, aren't aware of these things. Like you have a cost per job per day. Every day you have a job sitting there, it's costing money. And then you get these building companies there that will overcommit themselves and extend themselves past their capacity, and that's where you start seeing building sites sitting there for 12 months, 18 months and beyond, unfortunately, which is just horrific. Like it should never take that long to build a home if you've taken on the volume of work that you can control, that you can facilitate there. So, the biggest pitfall that we sort of see is people just saying yes, 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 and they're, signing contracts and they think things are hunky-dory and things are so great, but they're signing contracts there below what it costs to actually construct. And the homeowner thinks, oh, well, that's great. It's not my problem, but it actually could be your problem if your home ends up only being half finished. Then they're calling me to come finish it. So it's one of those things that if a builder is not keeping their finger on their pulse and going through every little detail of the build and constantly managing that construction, things can get away from you very quickly. And if you have handfuls of builds out there and then these construction sites start bleeding cash, that compound effect and that dominoing that can come is absolutely enormous. So it's so important that builders really do the work and put the time in to quoting properly. And that's each and every element, making sure they are auditing their building company, making sure they're not taking money from their business that's not theirs. It's all good and well that we get paid for all the staged payments that are there, and they can be substantial amounts, but that's not your money. You need to know the money coming in is there to pay your workers, your suppliers, your contractors. These builders that are signing way too many contracts and taking them 12 months, 2 years and beyond to construct and finish a home, they're doing this because they probably didn't quote the project right to start with. So they've had to park your job over here and purchase other contracts over here and get deposits to help this here pay for this here. So when you start seeing building companies taking so long to build and things don't quite seem to be lining up, that it can be a bit of a telltale sign that are they actually in a little bit of hot water? Are they robbing Peter to pay Paul? Other ways you can look into this as well is that, if you're thinking about building, look, you want to avoid being one of those statistics. Ask around to your suppliers, your contractors, and find out there, do they pay the bills in time? Or have they got a high turnover of staff and contractors and suppliers because they can't use this supplier here or contractor here because they haven't paid them for 90 days or 100 days or, sometimes, unfortunately, a lot further than that. And they'll go from one to the next and just keep piggybacking that round so they can keep extending that cash flow. But all they're doing is continuing to sweep a big mess under that rug, and it's a volcano waiting to go off.
It's quite a scary picture you've just painted there in the industry.
Look, it is. And this is the thing. Like, it's all about taking that right process, and skipping down the right yellow brick road. Unfortunately, we're all become a bit like sheep at times, and we all follow the herd. We all follow the big billboards and the flashing lights, and my friend built here and it was great. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have the same experience. There's a good chance that can happen, yes, but you still got to be able to do a bit of your own research and groundwork there. If building companies are overcommitting themselves and signing contract after contract after contract, and they're sitting still that long, they've obviously overcommitted themselves. So do you really want to put yourself in that situation that you're waiting 18 months or more to be in your home? And look, yes, your home might get finished, but, old Peter over here has probably paid for your project to be finished because your money here paid for someone else's job. So it's a big risk, taking that journey there.
So from your perspective, how does that vicious cycle end? Because if these bigger building companies robbing Peter to pay Paul, as you say, they're constantly in the red. They're constantly chasing. So from your perspective, what should happen?
Look, unfortunately, there's a lot of companies out there that are actually trading insolvent. That's the facts of it there. And look, I did say before, there are some companies that, don't realize that that's the position they're in because they just don't have, the skill sets or the, I guess the knowledge and the things in place to be able to get that reporting and those numbers and understand. I think just getting numbers from your accountant, that's okay. They've got to start understanding their WIPA, their workflow. It's highly critical that a builder actually runs a very tight ship and understands their numbers there.
So if I'm a homeowner, I'm looking to build, I have this concern that if I may engage a particular builder that they may go into liquidation. What are some practical ways that I can do that would help me gain a better understanding of where they're actually at and not just take what they say at face value.
Yeah, look at this. Like, if you think that you're engaged in a builder that might go into liquidation, you probably need to turn around and go the other way straight away if you've got those gut feelings. But, realistically, you really need to make sure that the builder that you're engaging, you have good communications with. You need to be asking around and making sure they've got the report with paying their bills on time. They're very punctual. Importantly, too, that they've been around for a long time. Like if there's a lot of people now that think it's easy to start up a business there. So many businesses fail in the first couple of years. And then the ones that succeed after that, the first 2 or 3 years, a lot of them fail as well. Like it's a big journey in running a construction business there. And it's so important that the messages that are being portrayed and given out there are true and accurate. Too many people think that all these builders are making all this money and all these things are all great. But the truth can be there's a lot of building companies that they're not making any money at all. And they're signing all these contracts. And then when normality hits them or they stop signing these contracts there, their cash flow isn't there. They don't have money to pay their tax, their subbies.
Yeah. So do you reckon is that a red flag in itself if a quote comes back and it's 20% cheaper than another builder? Is that a point where you can go, oh, hang on, why is this so cost effective?
Oh, look, most definitely. We're all wise enough to understand if it's too good to be true, it's too good to be true. It's important, if you're getting something that you believe is fantastic for you, but you don't want to go signing up on the cheapest price and just going, oh, well, she'll be right sort of thing, because you could literally be the next person that has a half-completed home and then your home could be into courts for the next 5 years, so then what it costs you after that, it's if you're getting those feelings, my advice with any of that sort of stuff there is get a second opinion, get a third opinion, get your solicitor to do a bit more groundwork there. Like a good builder should be able to openly communicate and show financial security there. If it means of, engaging, talking with their accountants, obviously you have certificates of insurance and things that can be portrayed there as well. But easy early telltale signs are they taking on what they can handle and facilitate? If your builder's got plenty of projects standing out there and their timber frames are rotting in the weather month on month, it might be a bit of a telltale sign that they might have overcommitted themselves, and that then can be a really, really dangerous game.
I love that. That's jam-packed with value right there. Before we wrap up, I will just ask you one more question from our Get to Know Your Norm jar. Shifting gears towards the end. Let's see what we get here. All right, Norm. Wrapping us up. Gosh, I didn't make this easy for you. Norm, if you could eliminate one human emotion to make life easier, which one would it be and why?
Removing one human emotion to make life easy. I actually think it was going to be an emotion. It would actually have to be the emotional attachment to how we get bounded to things itself, because everything we do is driven by emotion, which is a good thing and a bad thing. That's what can create procrastination and many positive things also. So I think it's the emotional aspect of it there, so we can maybe think a little bit clearer and make sharper, better decisions.
I love that. Well, thanks for your insight and your wisdom, Norm.
No problem at all. Thanks.
Until next time on The Builder's Edge.
Cheers, buddy.